Welcome, everybody. It's the AEW Double or Nothing post show. We're live.
Hi.
We're live. I'm Dave. This is my brother, as you can tell. And, of course, you know, everybody knows the big man, Johnny North, super pro wrestler, wearing the T-shirt of the man he defeated in his last championship defense.
Right.
Yep.
About to defend the title in a couple of weeks' time. We'll probably get to that at some point. There were some guys that you knew on this card tonight, Double or Nothing. Ace Romero, AC Baby was in the pre-show Battle Royale, which was pretty fun. I want to talk a little bit about the main event, and then we'll work our way down to the rest of the card. AEW's Double or Nothing is in the books, the first pay-per-view from All Elite Wrestling. Chris Jericho beating Kenny Omega with the, what did he call it? The Judas Curse?
Effect.
The Judas Effect, a back elbow in a match where they threw pretty much everything at each other. An incredible match. I'd say just as good as their first bout January 4th, 2018 at the Wrestle Kingdom in Tokyo, Japan. I think this match was just as good. Not better. As good. As entertaining. A lot of fun. Maybe a little bit hard to enjoy as much as you did the Tokyo Dome match, because this match came right after the Young Bucks Lucha Brothers match, which was just exhausting as a fan to sit through it, in a good way, though. Not like,
Right.
I don't mean that, like, oh, it was long and boring. It was just like so intense, so amazing, so incredible that any match after that is hard to follow. Kind of why the WWE sometimes, when they'll give you one of their big matches, right after that they'll give you kind of a match and you're like, what's this doing so high up on the card? It's to kind of chill the audience down and get us to kind of reflect on what just happened. And it's a little bit of a break where you don't have to be so into it, and then they give you the other main event, and then you're, boom, right back into it. Maybe they could have done that tonight for the pacing, given us a little bit of a break between the two main events, because it was a lot, and I do plan on watching Jericho and Omega again, I think, down the road, because it was so good, and it was like, man, I don't know if I appreciated it as much as I would have had I not just seen another classic match before that where they just gave each other every move in the book, right?
Well,
every head drop, every move.
I found all the elite matches, Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny, all those matches really delivered. Those were the matches to watch tonight. I mean, the other matches were good, but I felt the elite, they were on a whole other level. I mean, it's their pay-per-view, and I think they felt they had to deliver, and they definitely did. Those matches, to me, were the matches of the night.
What was your match of the night? What was your match of the night? Send us your comments. We're reading comments here on the show, so we will, check out what you guys have to say.
Did people actually like this pay-per-view? It's different, right? It's different kind of wrestling that you used to expect to see from WWE. It's not traditional WWE kind of wrestling. I mean, there's a little bit of that. We saw that, I think, in the Cody and Dustin match, but that was also very old school wrestling where you don't see a lot of that anymore.
Yeah. Are you wondering if people like this pay-per-view?
Did
you like the pay-per-view?
I liked parts of it. Some parts were like, it's kind of a mess a bit. We even said it for a couple of matches. It's like it's getting a little messy out there.
I like this pay-per-view.
I liked it overall, but I thought some parts were kind of disorganized.
I liked it more than Money in the Bank.
I don't know about that.
Money in the Bank was pretty good this year, but I thought tonight was better.
I give him a 6 on 10 for Money in the Bank. I gave this 6 on 10 too. It's about the same.
6 on 10.
Those are low marks for Double or Nothing. I'm going to give it a solid 8.5. I thought the pay-per-view was great, top to bottom. Some incredible wrestling, great storytelling. A lot of new stars were made. I thought AEW Double or Nothing was a tremendous effort, John. I'm a little bit surprised that you're giving it such a low rating, especially, considering I watched Money in the Bank with you and I watched Double or Nothing and I saw your live reaction, and you seem to enjoy Double or Nothing way more than what you're saying right now. Why are you no-selling Double or Nothing here, John? I'm a little bit surprised. I thought Double or Nothing was tremendous.
There were good parts, but there's also parts where it just felt it was a little sloppy. The women's matches, they got a little sloppy. The finishes, they botched it.
Which match are you talking about?
Both of them. The four-way with the women They botched the finish.
Do you think it was a botched finish?
They did the 1, 2, and then 3, and they rang the bell.
Yeah.
The music played. They botched the finish.
That was a 6-woman tag.
Four-way.
No, that was in the 6-woman tag.
No, it was the 4-way. What's her name? Baker, I think, did the pin or something, or.
No, that was just like a nasty looking move where it looked like her knee gave out. It was the 6-woman tag where
you're right.
there's a 2 count, and then they played that kind of like Japanese
you're
music.
right.
And
you're right, yeah.
Come on, John. You don't even remember the matches.
I remember
and you're
a
burying
botch.
them.
I'm not burying it. I'm telling you the way it was.
There's no botches in the Fatal 4-Way.
I thought the Fatal 4-Way was solid. I liked the addition of Awesome Kong in that match.
That was great.
Britt Baker. I thought the finish to the match was a little bit weird, right? It was a little bit of an abrupt finish to the match. It kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't my favorite finish of the night, but I still thought that it was a good match, and I didn't think that it was sloppy, really.
The finish was sloppy, though. The finish
You're
was
being
sloppy.
hard on this pay-per-view. I'm surprised. I am very surprised. She hit her with a brain buster on her knee.
But her knee gave out.
But her knee looked like it gave out a little bit on the finish. I don't know. I didn't think it was a negative.
The camera didn't quite catch it, so it was hard to tell if it was a full-on botch or not. But
you got to talk more.
I understand your criticisms, Jonathan. And I would say you gave it an 8, you gave it a 6. I'd say mine's maybe a solid 7. Like some of those matches, while they were really technically well done, you didn't really kind of feel like what they were doing out there. It felt like a solid TNA pay-per-view. Something that you'd see from that. It was good to watch, but you won't really remember it tomorrow.
Which isn't a bad thing, too. TNA is actually really good as well, so it's not really saying it's bad. It's just at some points it felt a little sloppy at some points. Even the 6-man tag they did, the opening match, it was good, but at some points it seemed like they were a little lost.
The SCU beating the guys from OWE. That match? Yeah, that match was maybe not the best, but come on, man. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, the Young Bucks against the Lucha Brothers. You're telling me those weren't 2 incredible matches? You're telling me Cody versus Dustin wasn't unbelievable? That match had everything. You're telling me you weren't impressed by all the new stars that they made tonight? Jungle Boy, MJF, Ace Romero, Glacier,
Glacier.
So many stars.
They made Glacier.
The Luchasaurus, my buddy Fred Garcia, shout out to Freddie at Freddie MMA. He told me that MJF is becoming his favorite wrestler, and this is just from seeing him one time tonight at Double or Nothing. I thought Double or Nothing did a great job of making a lot of new stars, of selling us on the product, of creating new storylines. They gave us a surprise finish where Jericho beats Kenny Omega, and then Jericho cuts a promo saying that AEW is all about him and everybody owes him a thank you. And then who comes in through the crowd? It's Dean Ambrose from The Shield, except it's not. It's Jon Moxley, who is Dean Ambrose. It's the same guy, but they have to call him Jon Moxley.
It's his original gimmick.
Yeah, so he comes out and he attacks Chris Jericho. And then he attacks the referee, and then he starts fighting with Kenny Omega, and then he winds up brawling through the crowd with Kenny Omega after the match, and Kenny's got his nose broken. He just went through a nearly 30-minute match, a brutal match with Chris Jericho, and now he's brawling with Dean Ambrose. And that's crazy just to see Dean Ambrose versus Kenny Omega as a pay-per-view closes. You're like, what? What's happening here? We kind of wondered maybe he'd show up. But we didn't know he was going to, and it was certainly a surprise when he did at the end of the pay-per-view. I thought we were going home. I thought the show was over. I thought Jericho's promo at the end was all we needed to keep on going. You set up the match now for the title. The AEW Championship will be crowned at some point between Chris Jericho and Hangman Page because Hangman won the opening Battle Royal to earn that spot. But no, we weren't done with Jericho. We have a thing with Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Moxley hits Omega with a thing on top of the set, and then he tosses him off a thing with a big slam. That was very cool, and that's how you end the pay-per-view. Pure havoc, a brawl going on, crowd going absolutely crazy. A guy from the WWE showing up. Now he's in AEW, so you've set up many matches going forward off this pay-per-view. You set up Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. You've set up Chris Jericho versus Hangman Page for the first ever AEW championship. And you've set up the tag team match, Cody and Dustin, the Rhodes brothers, taking on the Young Bucks, the Jackson brothers. 3 incredible matches for your next show. I don't know what else you're looking for here, brother. I thought this was a great pay-per-view. I'm giving it an 8.5. Big Johnny's giving it a 6 because he's just no-selling it for no reason.
6 is still a pass.
Yeah, it's a pass, but it's like not impressed.
I'm in the middle with the 7.
That's it. That's it.
I see your point. I see John's point also. So I'm the happy medium.
What are you guys giving it for a score on 10? Let me know. I want to hear from you. Send us your comments. I see Rick S is in there, Franco316, Ben Dussault. All you guys watching, everybody watching the show right now, I want to know what you guys thought about the pay-per-view. Were you as impressed as I was? Were you unimpressed, like Big Johnny? Were you kind of in the middle, maybe, like my brother over here? How did you feel about tonight's Double or Nothing? This is the live Double or Nothing post-show, Wrestling Uncensored style.
Well, regardless how you look at how I'm looking at it, I was impressed. I thought it was a very good pay-per-view. A 6 is a positive in my point of view. I thought the Elite matches were the best matches. It's just some other matches could have been better, could have been organized better. It felt like it was mainly a spot fest for a lot of the matches. And spots are fine, but it just felt a lot of them just dragged on. And that's what, in my opinion, hurt the pay-per-view a bit. Like, you're not really building stars. You're just showing a bunch of cool moves.
What do you mean you're not building stars? What are you talking about? You're not building stars. I just told you a bunch of stars that they built. What are you saying to me? What are you telling me?
So Jungle Boy just coming out and doing that thing with
People
MJF?
care about Jungle. Is Jungle Boy over with you?
Jungle Boy's over with me, brother.
Did you know who Jungle Boy was before tonight?
Yes, I did.
Okay, but
A little bit.
Had you ever seen him in a match?
Once or twice.
Okay. But this is the most Jungle Boy you've ever seen.
And it was
excellent. Now you're invested and you're going to look to see more Jungle Boy. I just told you MJF was made tonight. My friend said MJF is my favorite wrestler. I was really impressed with MJF's promo work, and I've seen him on Being the Elite, and I've watched some of his matches. Like, look, man, there are stars being made. The Luchasaurus. People like Luchasaurus. You've never seen Luchasaurus before.
He was good, yeah.
And you liked him.
He was good, yeah. There were some positives.
Ace Romero. I was very impressed with Ace
great,
Romero.
yeah.
You know you've wrestled.
I'm biased, obviously.
You've wrestled Ace, and now you're going to tell me they haven't made new stars?
Well, I just don't agree with Jungle Boy so much. I mean, he was okay, but to me, he's not like, wow, you got to really watch out for Jungle Boy.
Okay, so you weren't very impressed with Jungle Boy. But, like, don't tell me they didn't make new stars tonight. It's not true.
They made a couple, but it's still a building process. I mean, just off one pay-per-view, it's not like, wow, you got to really watch out for these people. I mean, I want to see where it's going, but it's not like these guys are the reason why I want to buy a pay-per-view. It's still mainly the Elite. That's what's drawing this pay-per-view.
Well, it's all Elite Wrestling, and it's their first show. Of course it's going to be the main guys that you know very well selling the pay-per-view, but they're making other people in the process and making it a broader talent base.
I feel
I was impressed.
I feel very few, though, were really built towards that. They could face the Elite. Like MJF, I could see him facing the Elite. I don't think Jungle Boy is quite there yet. I think he's much lower tier. And was there really anyone else?
Yes.
I think Joey Janela could probably be up there.
Joey Janela, the what was it, a choke slam that he took from the Luchasaurus through the table to eliminate himself from the Battle Royal? That was incredible.
Right, but I think he was up there before this pay-per-view even started. So.
Sure, but this is a bigger audience. A lot of people are watching All Elite Wrestling now. People want to know what they're doing. People want to know what they're going to do. This is a bigger platform than, you know, his spring break shows or even All In when a lot of people saw him. But these are the types of stars that are going to be made and continue to be featured on this show. And I was impressed with the roster. They have a very deep roster with a whole lot of talent.
There's a lot of potential, without question. But, again, it's a building process here. and it's going to take time. Like, you're not right away going to tell me that you're going to buy a pay-per-view to see Jungle Boy wrestle.
Well, let's see. Rick S. giving it an 8.5. I saw Derek John, our man, giving it an 8. Acme Tunes gives it an 8. I gave it an 8.5. You're giving it a 7. You're giving it a 6. You guys on the lower end of the scale. Most people with me in the 8 range for the pay-per-view. I thought it was a tremendous show. Sean Hill saying tonight's show was better than WWE has been for a long time. Bucks and the Lucha Brothers destroys the whole tag team division in WWE, no doubt. I don't know about that. I think the Usos are really good. They'd have a great match with the Young Bucks. I'm not saying that the talent in AEW is better than the talent in WWE. It's just the way it's presented. Very, very different presentation, and I appreciated that tonight from All Elite Wrestling. They do have a very deep talent roster and a more diverse talent roster. Dean Malenko, DDP, Bret Hart, all a part of AEW, as Ben Dussault pointing out. We saw DDP getting Brandy Rhodes out from the ringside area when she was ejected during that match, during the Cody and Dustin match. Brandy was ejected, and DDP had to bring her out. Dean Malenko's working backstage as a producer agent for All Elite Wrestling, and Bret the Hitman Hart was out there, a special appearance, a surprise appearance to unveil the first ever All Elite Wrestling Championship and also do a little promo, which was awesome. And we are both currently wearing Bret Hart shirts, and we didn't plan to wear Bret Hart shirts. This is not just for the show. This isn't a gimmick. We just love Bret Hart, and like all three of us popped like crazy when Bret Hart showed up. You want to get us excited about a pay-per-view, give me a surprise Bret appearance. John, this had a good surprise Bret appearance, and you're giving it a 6. How dare you? As a Bret Hart fan, you should just give it an extra point out of respect for the Hitman. Like, Bret showing up, incredible. I love Bret. He is my hero. He was my hero. And he's the best hero there ever will be.
Bret's great, and the promo was all right. It's a nice surprise, but that's all it was. It was just a nice surprise. Money in the Bank had nice surprises, too. I like the Brock surprise as much as everyone hated it. I love that,
Brock
too.
over Bret? Blasphemous.
Yeah, you can't say that.
How
John.
dare you?
You cannot say
It's
that.
a surprise.
Yeah.
It's the effect of the surprise.
It's the surprise. Who was the surprise? It was
No, it's
Bret.
the effect. It's not who it was. It's the effect of it. Bret's a great effect.
I'm going to give you the Judas effect in a minute if you're not careful, brother.
Good luck with that.
Unbelievable. I'm surprised. I thought you liked it more than you did.
I liked it. It just, there were some things they need to work on. And I think they know that, too. I think they need a better job of introducing their new characters. Some vignettes from some people would have helped a lot.
Watch Being the Elite. You get the vignettes there.
This is your
They
pay-per-view.
had a little promo with MJF and stuff. That was a good showcase.
Some people, yeah, for sure. They showcase. Some people, not so much.
Oh, they're going to have a TV show eventually. They'll do it there.
You can do it in the meantime, too. You have pay-per-view. This was a longer than expected pay-per-view, too. This went way past 11 o'clock.
Complaining about that, too. You're the wrestling fan Sami Zayn's complaining about, I think, Johnny North. You're the guy.
Complain whatever
Go
he
to
wants
hell.
to.
Yeah, exactly. Sami Zayn wants you to go to hell.
Good.
Oh,
Every
man.
right to complain.
Just nitpicking. Unbelievable. I thought it was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for the future of professional wrestling. Does this not get you excited for the future of wrestling, though? Aren't you hyped to see what All Elite is going to do next? It is a bright future for pro wrestling. As a wrestler, I got to figure you're happy about this, too.
Yeah, it definitely opens up new avenues for a lot of people. It's fantastic. This is great what they're doing. It's just, this is just one step in that direction. I don't think right away, like, bam, like they're competing with WWE. I think this was a great start for them, but they still have a lot of work ahead of them.
Can I ask you guys a question? And we kind of like we're talking about it a little bit before the broadcast, but how's my volume? It's good.
Yeah.
Checking my voice levels.
Just get in deep.
Do you think that upper management at WWE knew that Dean Ambrose was making the jump, given like how much of a treatment they gave him on the way out, all the specials, all the tributes? Do you think that he would turn around so fast and go to the rival promotion? Do you think they are scrambling right now?
I don't think they knew. I don't think
they're scrambling right now. Like, they knew he was going to leave. They tried their best, I think, to make it as appealing for him as possible to come back if he wanted to come back. But he decided to go this route instead.
I don't think that they expected him to go to AEW, though.
They try to make it.
I mean, look how nicely they treated him on the way out. Dean Ambrose Appreciation Night after Dean Ambrose Appreciation Night. And then he goes to AEW at Double or Nothing, the first chance he can get. I gotta imagine some people in Stamford, Connecticut aren't very happy tonight.
Were they even like paying attention?
Someone must have been.
Maybe someone will tell them what happened. I'm sure a lot of the wrestlers in WWE were watching, but
oh, they definitely were because I was on Twitter and I saw some of them commenting.
But the McMahons themselves, I'm sure they try to ignore
I saw
it much.
Matt Hardy as soon as the Lucha Brothers Young Bucks match was over. Matt Hardy posted a picture of him and Jeff with the Bucks and then him and Jeff with the Lucha Brothers because, you know, they've wrestled them all.
That's cool that they do stuff like that.
Yeah, man. They're well aware. They're in the wrestling business. If you're in the wrestling business, if you're anywhere near the wrestling business, you are watching tonight. If you're a real hardcore wrestling fan, you are watching this show tonight because it's the birth of a new promotion with a whole lot of promise that could rival the WWE one day. And like you said, they're not going to rival the WWE today. I'm seeing some comments where, you know, the production value wasn't as good as WWE and maybe people didn't love the commentary and everything wasn't quite as tight. But that's to be expected. They're not the WWE. It's going to take some time. I was happy with the production that they had. I thought the production value for their first show was very good. If you watch indie wrestling, this was not indie wrestling. This was a professional wrestling company, like money behind it. You know, this didn't look like some rinky-dink wrestling show. It looked good. You know, maybe they missed some spots on the camera once in a while. Maybe the director wasn't great. Maybe when there was water on the camera, they should have cut away quicker to wipe the lens. Sure.
Get the barrel of the ring quicker.
Get the barrel out of the ring. Yeah, Jericho was mad about that, right?
Great.
But it doesn't mean that the production was bad. It just means that it wasn't as sharp and polished about the WWE, like as the WWE is. But that's kind of one of the things that we complain about with the WWE is that it's so sharp, it's so polished, and it's so cookie cutter that there's no room for error and there's no room for grit and kind of violence and, you know, going outside the line sometimes. You know, WWE is very, we're going to do A, B, C, D, and sometimes when you do that, it gets a little stale and it gets a little predictable, whereas AEW tonight didn't feel predictable. It helps that they don't have a formula yet, right? It's a new company. It is hard to predict what their bookers are going to do and how they're going to do the show, but it did feel kind of new. It did feel kind of fresh, and it felt like, oh, I don't really know what they're going to do next, and I was surprised at many different turns of the night.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing, too. They threw a lot of different styles at us. A lot of lucha libre and just a lot of, like, foreign wrestling that you haven't seen before. And I think for most part it's good, but it's also hard to take it all in right away and accept it as something that's like, well, this is great and this is what I want to watch. At first, it's kind of difficult to take it in. It'll take time to adapt, I think, because what kind of wrestling are we going to get all the time from AEW? It doesn't seem like it's going to be a standard. It's just always going to be whoever they have on the card, and that's who we have to deal with in terms of the style of wrestling.
That's definitely one way of looking at it. And I was wondering about, like, can they keep up the high work rate in the matches? You know, are they not going to lose their roster to injuries if they work so hard so often?
Well, I don't think that they're gonna work this hard this often, right? This is Double or Nothing. This is their big first show. They had to go all out. They had to go 100%. If you have a 2-hour weekly TV show and you're doing maybe monthly or bi-monthly pay-per-views, I don't know if you can be expected to wrestle this kind of style like the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers did on, a weekly basis. It's I think silly to think that they're going to do that, but every once in a while, the fact that they can attain this level is promising.
So maybe like when they start to have that format where they're more weekly and it's a little less, we could start to make more clear comparisons to the WWE, because they'll both have similar, not quite as many schedules. Like they won't be doing house shows as often, but they will have to take into consideration we need you healthy to wrestle next week.
The comparisons are always going to be there with the WWE, because the WWE is another wrestling company that does wrestling pay-per-views. You're going to watch one wrestling pay-per-view and you're going to compare it to the next. People are going to compare New Japan to the WWE. People are going to compare NXT to the WWE, right? To the main roster. That's just the way wrestling fans are. And you know what? It's good for the WWE, because if people stop comparing other promotions to the WWE, well, then the WWE is not the main game in town anymore, right? So if everything's compared to WWE, they do this better in WWE, or WWE is this, or as long as WWE's in the conversation, which it is right now, they're still winning, right? So, pump your brakes for sure on this is gonna take out WWE and this and that, but I did enjoy the wrestling product. It doesn't have to be about one company versus the other. I enjoyed Money in the Bank. I'll probably enjoy bits of Super Showdown. I won't enjoy that they're in Saudi Arabia, but I won't boycott the show. I'll watch it because I love wrestling, and I want to see how bad Goldberg and Undertaker's going to be. I'm just interested. But that doesn't mean that I have to hate AEW. It doesn't mean that I have to hate Impact Wrestling. Just because I like the WWE doesn't mean that I want the other companies to fail. I like professional wrestling. I watched the Best of the Super Juniors for most of the day today. And then I came home and I watched All Elite Wrestling, and I'll be watching Raw on Monday. Or, Tuesday morning, because I don't like to watch it live, because 3 hours is too long. I like to skip through commercials and so on, right? But that's neither here nor there. The point is, we all love wrestling, and we can all watch whatever wrestling we want. It doesn't really matter. This is just a nice new alternative that wasn't here before, that didn't exist, and it's a pretty cool alternative. And hey, if they do weekly TV, and they do monthly pay-per-views, and they do run a schedule similar to WWE and run similar towns to the WWE, well, the comparisons are going to start to be there, and it's going to become some sort of wrestling war, at least in the United States. So, look, we're not there yet, but eventually, if AEW can keep on this path, they're going to challenge WWE, and they're going to at least force them to put out a better show.
I think in terms
and maybe treat their wrestlers better, which I think should be the priority. A lot of fans are like, man, WWE sucks. AEW is going to make them do better. And I'm like, yeah, and maybe they'll treat the wrestlers better, and guys will get paid more, and the women will get paid more, and everybody will get paid, and it'll be good for business. That's really what I'm thinking. Wow, some of these people can start making bank. It's good. Good for business.
It may have helped if they were able to tell the stories better. I don't find that Alex Marquez guy, I don't think he was very good on commentating. I think
Alex Marvez,
I don't think he was that good on commentating. I found JR was good at points, but he needs someone to help him.
I like JR.
He's good for the storytelling and hyping up somebody, but he wasn't good on some of the names and some of the moves.
He was great at the end. When Dean Ambrose and Kenny Omega were going at it, and you could hear JR going oh my God, Moxley, oh my God, Moxley. Yeah. It felt like 1998 kind of.
It was good.
When JR's yelling and his excitement, I was like, whoa, this is what I want from commentary.
With the crowd going crazy and JR screaming,
God Almighty,
and Kenny Omega and Dean Ambrose brawling on the stage, and the shows come into a close, it felt like the late 90s when one of those old WWF shows were coming to an end. By God, Steve Austin and Mankind, they're brawling through the crowd. What's going to happen Monday night? Yeah. We'll see you there, folks. It was and then it just cuts. That's how wrestling felt when I was growing up. So it was like it was a nice feeling to see Double or Nothing finish that way. It was like, oh yeah, this feels good.
And
man.
he helped tell the Dustin Cody story very well. It added so much emotion to that match as well. Question, but when it's a bunch of spots, like JR gets lost, and I understand that you need someone else to help fill him in. They don't have that guy yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I didn't think commentary was the best part of the show.
There's just something to work on. That's it.
Not like WWE.
I'm available, by the way. I'm available for hire. Like, I could do that, but just saying. I mean, I would love to. Get a Canadian TV deal, and maybe we can do something. Who knows?
You and JR, that'd be awesome.
Me and JR. Hey, JR, DM me, man. We can talk.
You follow each other, so yeah, why not?
Yeah. At Dave Simon MMA on Twitter. All right, JR, I'm always around, and I'm coachable, and I work hard, and I'd love to work for AEW, and I won't bury the product after the first pay-per-view like Johnny North is doing today. I don't understand.
I'll say the good and bad parts.
I was really happy with the
is.
show. I thought the show was super awesome. Britt Baker beating Nyla Rose, Kylie Ray, and Awesome Kong in a fatal four-way match. SCU, SoCal Uncensored, in, again, the worst town they've ever been in, Las Vegas. They just want to get back to Southern California. They beat the Strong Hearts in the opener. The Best Friends, Chucky T and Trent Beretta, beat Angelico and Jack Evans.
That was a good match.
That was an early candidate for match of the night. That was a lot of fun. Jack Evans, incredible. Love seeing that guy. I remember years ago watching him in Impact Wrestling, TNA back then, and maybe it was even NWA TNA back then, right? And it was great stuff. And he's been in Mexico for so long. Great to see him back in American wrestling. We had Hikaru Shida, Riho, and Ryo Mizunami beating Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura. Not a bad match.
Well,
confusing.
You didn't like it, but I thought it was all right.
Who were the faces? Who were the heels in that one?
No idea.
No idea.
I had it the wrong way. I thought the faces were all the happy people, but they were apparently the heels, I guess.
Because
they cheated?
There was a one lady who came out and she was like dancing and singing. She had that cool theme song. Yuka Sakazaki was the one, and she seemed very peppy and upbeat, but she was on the heel team because they were cheating. It was weird.
It was very weird, but...
And the other person of the heel team was like dressed like Freddie Mercury and like leading the audience and clapping like with the mustache.
Yeah, she was on the heel team.
Yeah, she was on the heel team.
That was Emi Sakura.
Yeah. I did not understand, but I was entertained
Again,
my confusion.
I didn't hate it. I was just a bit confused as to who were the heels and who were the baby faces, but I also didn't really care. I was just like, whatever, this is cool. I like these characters. The match was fun.
It's something different. It's a different style of wrestling that we're not accustomed to, so that's it.
Are they going to stick around? Like,
I
are we
think
going to be able to know who these characters are?
I think we'll see more of them. I want to see more.
You know, like who was the kind of Bailey like
Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah, I want to know more.
I want to
of
see
her.
more of her. I want to see more of Riho. She was really good. Riho Abe. Hikaru Shida was good. Ryo Mizunami. I thought they were all good. I was happy with them. I want to see more of them. I'm trying to figure out where you think this pay-per-view fell through, because after that we saw Cody and Dustin. Cody beating Dustin Rhodes. Incredible match. Very emotional. Dustin was bleeding. They hit all the moves on each other. They told a beautiful story. And then at the end, Cody in tears asked Dustin to be his tag team partner against the Young Bucks.
No, he said to be his brother. He didn't want a partner.
Yeah, but, he needs a tag team partner. He said he doesn't want a friend. He doesn't want a partner. He needs his brother, So,
That's
whatever.
what added to it.
Yeah, so brother on brother, very emotional. Started to cry. They're both crying. It was beautiful. Just covered in blood. Beautiful.
The ring was covered in blood.
Violent. Tremendous match. Like, way better than you thought it was going to be. Right?
Yeah,
way
without
better.
question. I had low expectations for that. I didn't think it would be that good whatsoever.
Man,
And it was very
Dustin
good.
Rhodes. Goldust does it again.
Well, give it to Cody, too.
Sure.
Cody brought it.
Yeah. But Dustin's 50.
Yeah. It was
incredible.
amazing. Yeah.
Incredible performance.
The amount of blood he lost tonight.
Like,
Wow.
that tonight was one of my favorite Dustin Rhodes matches ever.
He's had a lot of good matches.
That was
though.
one of
That's
his
tough.
greatest performances.
He's had a lot of good matches. The match he had with Piper at WrestleMania, that's legendary.
It's legendary, but is it a great mat? Like, it wasn't in the ring. It was a mat. Come on, man. It was totally different than what we saw tonight.
But it's still legendary, though. The setting, the opponent, everything that was going down at the time, it was just well done, in my opinion.
You know it was supposed to be OJ, right?
Exactly.
It wasn't supposed to be Dustin. It was supposed to be Roddy Piper against OJ.
But
Simpson.
they played OJ. That was good. I love it.
Yeah, they did a Bronco chase. They used the... God, can't believe we're talking about that now. Like, that match was incredible. The Young Bucks beating the Lucha Brothers, incredible. And then Jericho and Kenny Omega. So where on this card did it fall off for you? And why? I don't understand how you're giving this the same rating as you gave it Money in the Bank. I felt this was way better. I don't know if there was anything as emotional, definitely not as bloody, and there was no story told as great as the match with Cody and Dustin. Like, that was a classic tonight. And the athleticism displayed in the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think that exceeded anything we saw at Money in the Bank. Not to say we didn't see great things at Money in the Bank, but I was more satisfied with this. Maybe because of the finish. You know, the finish to that great Money in the Bank ladder match last weekend. Surprising, but not that satisfying with Brock Lesnar winning. Here tonight with the Young Bucks winning, beating the Lucha Brothers, it was a satisfying, clean finish. We got a real finish, and the winners were guys that were actually, in the match pouring out their blood and sweat.
I just found like the Elite's on a whole other level compared to everybody else.
That's why they're the elite.
I know,
It's their
but
company. That's what
the word means.
it just feels like everyone's below them, and I feel like it's hard for anyone else to compete against them now. Like, it's hard to take anyone else seriously because, like, well, of course they should win because it's pretty much their thing. And they proved it tonight, did they not?
No.
They all won.
No, Kenny lost.
Kenny lost.
Kenny lost to one
Clean.
of his guys.
And he is like the leader of the elite. He's the elite of the elite.
And then,
To their top guy.
then Dean Ambrose beat him up.
And then he got beat up by Dean Ambrose.
For now.
He'll probably lose to Dean Ambrose.
You think so?
I don't know.
Wow,
I don't want to
rough.
see that. I'd be pretty mad. I gotta
my hot
say,
take.
I was happy to see Dean Ambrose show up because it was the first time I've ever been happy to
I
see
can't
Dean
believe
Ambrose.
that. That's crazy.
But it just the surprise of it, I was like, oh man, he's actually here. And then to see Dean Ambrose brawling with Kenny Omega, that was crazy. And then, it was just fun. It was fun to see, but I don't want to see Kenny Omega lose to Dean Ambrose. That doesn't seem right. Unless, somehow WWE was really holding him back and he's become this incredible wrestler and he's going to have a great match with Kenny Omega. You can't help but have a great match with Kenny Omega. He's the best in the world. He's the best bout machine. But I don't want to see Kenny lose again here. That doesn't seem right.
See, it was a nice surprise.
Unless, like, Kenny can't win because he's, like, mentally anguished and he can't do it because,
he's missing someone.
He needs someone. And then when that special someone finally does show up in AEW, maybe we're waiting for a contract to run out to figure this out, Maybe finally when Kota Ibushi, the Golden Star, does show up in AEW, then Kenny will truly be powerful. Because I don't know if you remember this, but in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kenny could never win the big one. He could never become IWGP Heavyweight Champion when he wasn't with Kota. But reuniting the Golden Lovers put his mind at ease and put him at peace to where he could finally do what he'd never done before, and that's beat Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And only then, with Kota Ibushi in his corner, was he able to do it and become the champion. So, maybe he needs Kota. Maybe it's a thing where Kenny's just not the same without the Golden Star, the other half of the Golden Lovers.
I wouldn't hope for something from another
That would be
federation.
beautiful. That would be a beautiful moment. Well, maybe they're just waiting for Ibushi to run out his contract with New Japan. I don't really know what Ibushi's contract status is. Although I did hear something about him saying that he was very much sticking with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't expect him to come to AEW, but it'd be a beautiful story, and I kind of miss seeing Kenny and Kota together. It just seems wrong. It seems wrong when they're apart, It's sad.
You think
sad
Kenny's
for
going to
me.
lose to John Moxley, don't you?
I'm saying he could.
Wow. See, that's something I'm not really looking forward to. I mean, it might be an okay match, but I would want something better for Kenny, actually. Him against Pac. I'd love to see that.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, unless Kenny is going to lose to him as well.
I'd rather that than lose to Moxley.
Lose to John
Yeah.
Moxley.
Wouldn't you?
Yes, I don't really want to see Kenny Omega lose to Dean Ambrose, but he might. Who knows? I guess you got to.
So you're excited for this?
Well,
you're happy about this?
Oh, I'm excited for the match, and I'm excited that I care.
Wow, they made you care about Dean Ambrose. It's pretty good, I guess.
Well,
It's an
I
accomplishment.
know that Dean Ambrose's next match is going to be really good because it's going to be against Kenny Omega, and I also know that I very much don't want him to win, and I very much want Kenny to win, so I'm very invested, and I also don't know who's going to win. So, like, all three aspects of a wrestling match that bring most wrestling fans in. You don't know what's going to happen. You know it's going to be awesome. And you really, really want one guy to win. And you really, really want the other guy to lose. Like, what more could I ask for as a wrestling fan?
The surprise is what's great right now. The unexpected. The fact that they can pull that off right now because they're so new. That's the appealing part right now, I think, about AEW.
It's very, very exciting. Very exciting times. I'm seeing a bunch of comments. We do have to wrap up. It's getting very late here. It's almost time, right, Johnny? We have a Cinderella type situation here, right?
Well, it's past midnight.
Yeah, but anyways. John, comment on are you just
What are you talking about?
what do you
It's
mean
almost 1 o'clock.
Okay.
We gotta catch the metro.
Yeah, it'd be nice to catch Metro, but if we don't catch the Metro, we don't catch the Metro.
Well, how are you going to get home?
Well, it's a city. You walk in a city.
Unbelievable. All right, well, we got to come up with plans for Johnny North here. We'll figure it out. So we see some final comments here, Johnny North?
Yeah,
What do you
final
think?
comments are good.
We got questions. I want to see some questions here. People want to know about a Canadian TV deal. There's no word yet on an AEW Canadian TV deal.
Just keep hoping we get the pay-per-views because that's what it seems all we're going to get for now is just pay-per-views until they get the TV deal.
Starts in September.
Why are you so mad?
Because do we even know what's the next pay-per-view? Is that confirmed? Because they kept hyping something and they were talking about something else too at the same time. It never felt like it was like concrete. Like they said, we'll see you next time. When is next time?
I don't know. They said something about June 14th, didn't they?
The
Wasn't there
Fighter,
something about,
Fighter
like-
Fest or something? Sounds like Fire Fest.
Oh, the Fighter Fest is something else. That's June 29th. And that's going to be the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson against Pac and the Lucha Brothers.
Damn.
June 29th in Daytona Beach, Florida. Cody takes on somebody by the name of Darbin Allen, who I don't really know. And also, big for that, Jabali versus Michael Nakazawa.
But is this a pay-per-view?
I have no idea what it is.
It was like a UFC fight night kind of thing.
It's like part of the CEO fighting video game event.
It sounds like this will just be on their YouTube page, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. But then there's Fight for the Fallen July 13th, which I think is going to be a pay-per-view. Brandy Rhodes versus Ali. Kenny Omega versus Shima. And then Cody and Dustin Rhodes versus the Young Bucks, all official. And then there was something called All Out that they, right?
Who's Shima?
Shima is the lead guy in what do you call it? In those OWE guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Chicago, All Out. Tickets on sale June 14th. Okay, that's what I was seeing. Tickets on sale June 14th. And I guess this is their next big pay-per-view that they're building towards August 31st. The Sears
Wow.
Center, All Out
Chicago.
in Chicago.
Far away, though.
Yeah, I guess that's their next big event. Well, it makes sense. Like, what are they gonna do? They're not on TV yet. They don't have their TV deal. It doesn't start till I guess September, October. So this will be their, it's a company. They're still in the building stages.
But 3 months? Till next pay-per-view?
Well, they're gonna have a couple events until then. You really think that they should be charging people $60 a pop for a pay-per-view that, or $50 or whatever it was, for a pay-per-view where you don't have a lot of build and you don't really know what it is? I think, it's smart to space out these pay-per-views. If you start doing them, monthly at this point without TV behind it, they're not going to sell.
No, but bi-monthly, though, at least. because that's a long time away between the storylines as well. Do you think people are going to remember or start to care about seeing Jericho against Page?
Keep up with press conferences, Twitter, YouTube videos,
Yeah,
Jericho's
it's all
radio
online.
show.
Gotta
It's
do a lot
all
of
being
work
the
now.
elite. A lot of these people that are watching All Elite Wrestling are also watching Being the Elite. I'm watching it every week. I know you're not, but a lot of people are.
So I got to watch the internet show is what you're saying.
Yeah. If you want to see the gimmicks, you want to know who these people are, watch Being the Elite. It's 20 minutes every week. How hard is that?
It's a connected universe.
You watch
John.
Raw every week, it's 3 hours, and it sucks. At least Being the Elite's entertaining. Get into it. Get into it now, John. Like, I don't know
can
what
be
you're
at
waiting
times.
for.
It's still a lot to watch every week.
Yeah.
So you're adding more.
Take something away. Watch less 90 Day Fiancé. Watch Being the Elite instead. All
I
right.
don't disagree with that, but you're the one who put in this 90 days.
Well, I stopped watching 90 Day Fiancé, and if you want to do a recap of Being the Elite on every episode of Dave and Johnny Live instead, we can do that on Fridays, all right? Let's do that instead.
We get Andy like sucked into 90 days.
Yeah, whatever.
Now we stop. Wow,
Whatever.
that's
It
rough.
doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So August 31st at the Sears Center in Chicago, and that'll probably be their last pay-per-view. That's the next one. But it'll be their last one before they go on TV, and then we'll see where they go from there. But first effort tonight, Double or Nothing, thought was fantastic.
Solid.
It was good.
Seeing a lot of different comments. Oh, I see Glenn is here. Bob Burgers is there.
Oh, I love that show.
Acme Tunes is there. Glenn, of course, the leader of the Glenn WO. You know, we're wearing the shirts on Friday. The Glenn WO. It's some sort of faction he's running. I don't know.
You're part of it, right? It says
yeah.
Ringside Report on it.
That's what it seems like. Seems like we're in the Glenn WO.
Has Ted DiBiase joined yet?
No?
No.
I don't think we have a DiBiase.
Or the Giant?
I think it's just a lot of Virgils. I think it's just like a
Wow.
bunch of Virgils, Buff Bagwells, and Scott Nortons.
What about the
That's
Disciple?
the kind of crew I want to be in. It's an NWO without a Hogan, a Nash, or a Hall.
The B team.
It's an NWO with
That's already a team.
it's Scott Norton, it's Virgil, it's Buff Bagwell, it's
Horace Hogan?
Horace Hogan, it's the Disciple, but he's not a disciple of anyone because Hogan's not there. It's just like straight up, you know, it's like it's almost the LWO, which is pretty sweet. I kind of want to be in the LWO, Latino World Order.
Conan?
Conan, Eddie Guerrero, tremendous. The LWO beats the NWO any day.
Well, no, that's not what happened, but
No, but you know,
NWO Black and Red
talent-wise,
and Black was
brother.
pretty good too. Wolfpack.
All right. Well, we saw Bret Hart tonight, and that was awesome. That's really my takeaway. We saw Bret, and I love Bret. Bret is the man.
No one rushed the ring.
well, I think Cody and Dustin really blew it away for me in terms of the story.
That was your match of the night?
In terms of the story, I think in terms of the work rate, it was definitely the Bucks and
Yeah.
the Lucha Brothers. In terms of the wrestling, but in terms of the story and the emotion, it was Dustin and Cody.
I'd say Bucks on the Lucha's match of the night for me. Tremendous.
Yeah, I'd say tag team match also. I mean, I really like Jericho and Omega also.
It was good.
Their use of that table, that weird looking table, when Omega took that back body drop
Yeah.
on the outside, and then Jericho went into it backwards, and they cut to his wife in the audience looking concerned. That was great. That was good use of editing.
It was a great match. Like, to say that the Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks was better, to me, just says how great that match was, because the Jericho Omega match on most pay-per-views would be match of the night, right?
Right. Yeah, of course. But also credit to Kenny, the fact that he got his nose busted open so early and to keep going through the match. It's not easy when you're having trouble breathing and you still keep going in a match like that. That's tough.
You could pass out.
Kenny's the man. Kenny's very impressive. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. When are we back? Friday?
I believe so. Well, you're
Is
back.
that it?
You're back Thursday.
Oh, I'm back Thursday. Yeah, I'll be back here Thursday with AJ and Fred for Ringside Report. We'll talk some MMA Thursday night, 8 p.m. right here live on the YouTube channel. Then Johnny will be back with me here Friday afternoon about 12:30 for Dave and Johnny Live, and we will be previewing the NXT TakeOver 25 show. How about that? TakeOver preview coming up on Friday, and then TakeOver next Saturday, which is going to be pretty exciting. More wrestling on a Saturday.
Yeah, one big show to the next.
Yeah, it never ever stops. So that's what's going on next week in professional wrestling. Thanks everybody for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed Double or Nothing more than Johnny North did. You liked it though, right, John?
I said it was all right. I just had some things that
All
I thought
right.
could have been better. If you don't like it, too bad.
Too bad.